Good evening and welcome to the broadcast of the Enid City Commission meeting. Broadcasting live in high definition from the council chambers at the City Administration Building located at 401 West Owen K. Garriott. Please stay tuned as Mayor Bill Shuey presides over the meeting.
Linda. Tonight's invocation will be given by, is it Damon Burke?
Damon?
Damon. Can't read my own. Damon, we're glad you're here.
Thank you.
Damon is with the World Harvest Church.
Correct.
Church all out of the ground, ready to go.
We are enjoying it.
Looks like it. A lot of people attending.
Yes, sir.
2 services a day or 3?
2 right now.
Sundays, okay.
Yeah, 9 and 11.
Looks good.
Yeah.
And our flag salute. Lewis, how would you like to lead us in the flag salute? Finish with the invocation. It's real easy. It starts with I. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for being here.
Absolutely. Join me in prayer. Father, I thank you so much for this great city. As a citizen of this city, Lord, I am just honored to be able to live here. Father, I thank you for these men and women that are giving of their time to sacrifice and to serve the citizens of this city. Father, just give them wisdom, give them insight, give them understanding, Lord, to make decisions that you have called them to make. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Put you to work the first time. Thank you. Before we go any further, Jessica Ellis, which item do you need to speak on tonight?
I actually thought that was the sign-in sheet for the.
Limit your speech to 30 minutes then.
I apologize, this is my first.
You're way ahead of, so you want me to just scratch through that? Okay. Thank you. Under item 4, consider approval of minutes of the regular commission meeting of September the 15th, 2015.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ben, second by Aaron. Please cast your vote. Motion carries 7-0. Under item 5, awards, presentations, proclamations, and organizational business.
Steve will introduce him. Oh, good.
We're going to do the dog first. Item 5.1, present the pet available for adoption at the city animal shelter. You have the floor.
All right, my name is William Breeze. I'm with Animal Control here in Enid, and this is Lily. She's about a 3-year-old wire hair terrier mix. She's one of our available for adoption. We have several others. If you don't have time to make it out to look at them, if you're interested, you can go on our website, which you can find through Facebook. It's Enid Adopt a Pet, and they're all listed on there with a brief history of the dog that we know about and a picture. So if you're interested, Lily will be there, and there's several others that are looking for a good home. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's always difficult to follow a cute pet. Mayor, would you join me, please? Ladies and gentlemen, Mayor and Commissioners, as you realize, the American Kite Flyers Association took place last week, And I had the opportunity to meet a young man from Paris, France, who happened to be in the neighborhood, come to the event. So it's a very impressive global event. We have Marcy Jarrett, Philip Whitaker, Rob Houston, the three of them would like to present you an award, a trophy, and goodies right now.
On Tuesday, we named the field the Richard Dermer Memorial Flying Field for the week while AKA was here. And AKA presented Enid with this plaque, and we feel it's right that you should receive this because it says, "With appreciation to the people of Enid," from the American Kite Flyers Association. And Philip is our local rep, so Philip, I'll let you say a few words and present that to the mayor.
We really appreciated the city of Enid stepping up and helping us put on this event. We had 32 states represented, and we had visitors from 2 foreign countries. France and Germany were here, and it was an amazing week. The Parks and Rec guys helped me do everything on the field out behind the Votech School, and we can't say enough, and we thank the city of Enid for all that you have done for us to put on this event. We're looking forward to coming back in 3 years, and put a plug in, Kites Over Enid is coming back. We're going to have a festival on the 23rd day of April 2016. So put that on your calendar, watch for details, and come, let's fly a kite. Mayor, on behalf of the American Kite Flyers Association, to the city of Enid, we would like to present you this plaque.
Thank you.
We've shared with each of the commissioners and you a pin, so you're welcome to share those with others. And again, I cannot say enough about the city team and how they made this all possible. You guys are great.
3 years from now, we'll pray for wind. That was the only
That was the
negative.
only thing we didn't have for the first 3 days. Was
That's not a,
can't plan.
not mad at bad deal.
That's right.
But it was a great event. Thank you. Thank
Thank you.
for what did.
And Mayor and Commissioners, that is all for the presentations for this evening. Thank you.
Item 6, under hearings, item 6.1, conduct a hearing rezoning property in the 900 block of South Garland, Terry Licks, KM Properties, and R&M Pipeline, described as part of the northeast quarter of Section 16, Township 22 North, Range 7 West of the Indian Meridian, from Agriculture District to C3 General Commercial District.
Thank you,
Chris?
Mayor, Commissioners, City Management. I have a brief slideshow that'll be up. Oh, there it is. Just don't see it on the TVs in front of me. Apologize. We are located right here on South Garland, just south of Walmart. We're on the west side of Garland. We have plenty of water and road service to this site. My sewer line is right here. We talked about this quite a bit. This is the sewer that you're planning to extend west to help facilitate the development that you approved the rezoning on in the last meeting. When that does go through, then this site here will be eligible for capital recovery on sanitary sewer. Planning Commission's recommendation to you is to approve.
We have someone sign up to speak on this, Chris.
I'll sit down.
Is the south road there, is that the half-mile line?
Yes. This would be the abandoned railroad right-of-way, been acquired by the adjacent property owner. Does that help you orient it? That's at the half mile.
Where is World Harvest Church?
It is about right below my red dot here. It's just out of this picture. This is their property, part of our detention facility, and trails is right there.
Right, okay.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Chip McCoy?
I'm just here to answer any questions, if there are any at all. It passed in APC unanimously. It seems like the highest and best use for that property. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to try to address them as best I can.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Aaron.
Oh, sorry, Mayor.
Good motion, though.
Again, a minute.
Sorry about that.
Close the hearing.
Yeah. What's that?
That can,
Okay. I move we conclude the hearing.
you're way ahead of me, Aaron. That's good. Under item 7.1, consider, under community development, consider an ordinance to rezone property located in the 900 block of South Garland for Terry Licks, KM Properties, and R&M Pipeline, described as part of the northeast quarter of Section 16, Township 22 North, Range 7 West of the Indian Meridian, from Agriculture District to C3 General Commercial District.
Oh, yeah, I'll do that. I'll go ahead and make that motion.
We have a motion by
Second.
Aaron to accept it.
Second.
By Ron. Further discussion? David?
Chris, clarify for me, I think we discussed it in MAPC, but I was not clear on the answer. Once the sewer line is constructed,
Yes?
capital recovery ordinance is in place.
Yes?
So if any development that occurs in that site that requires drainage to city sewer, they will be required to connect to the new sewer and to pay the recovery fee.
Correct.
Is it just for commercial or residential also?
No, Commissioner, it would be to any user of the sanitary sewer.
But we're only rezoning it for commercial.
We're guaranteed some recovery is kind of my point.
Gotcha. All right.
Good point. Motion by Aaron.
Yes, sir.
Do we have a second?
Yes. We second.
Ron, sorry. Please cast your vote. Motion carries 7-0. Item 8.1, item 8 is administration. Item 8.1, resolution ratifying and adopting the first 2015 amendment to the City of Enid 401K retirement supplement to restate the 401K plan and provide for compliance with internal revenue and federal regulations. Sonia?
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager.
Speak into the mic.
Thank you, Mayor. This resolution will ratify the 401K plan, including all the amendments that have been made over the past 5 years. This is an internal revenue requirement that our plan be restated every 5 years and then submitted to the Internal Revenue Service for a compliance check.
So we're not changing anything.
There is one change in this plan that from the past, employees could only contribute up to 25% of their earnings into the plan, and that has been raised to 80% because that regulation is no longer in place.
It's an IRS regulation, right? Or
It was an IRS regulation to limit it to 25%, but that's gone away in the past. So our plan is just changing that to 80%. So employees can contribute more if they choose to.
Move to approve?
Motion by Ben,
Second.
second by Tammy. Further comments? Please cast your vote. Motion carries 7-0. Item 8.2, consider the acquisition of property located at 115 West Park Avenue in the City of Enid.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we not acquire this property.
Which property is this?
I was going to say, is there not any
This
sort of
is-
presentation?
Yes, I'll do the presentation in Andrew's absence. This is the property that is Gary Walters' property, down there behind the Family Dollar at 115 West Park. It has been appraised at $600,424, and we need direction as a city on how you want to proceed with that. If you want to proceed, fine, or if you don't, I think I already read some of my concerns with you. It's a lot of money, and there's more money, but if that's what you feel like we need to do, then we just need a decision so we can move forward on this one.
No, if we decide not to buy it now, we could theoretically come back and buy it at some point in the future with the, if the value changes or, we can negotiate a better price at some point in the future.
We could, yes.
Gerald, what's on that property now?
There is a building that's approximately 15,000 square feet. I believe, 15,960 square feet. And he is using it for business purposes at this time.
I have an objection to the background and the way this thing is written, and it sets a precedent that I don't want to see. You know, this decision to buy this property and to acquire those properties has all been part of the downtown project for many, many years. The date in here of October 7th of 2014 was just the decision date to proceed with condemnation hearings on it. That's another 2 years into the grand plan of what this commission and the commission before us wanted to do with the downtown. So my objection is that we're not going to let the Kaw water pipeline, although it's the single most important thing we've done in a long time, that is not going to determine every project that this commission does for the next 20 years. And the background on this is revolting to me, because we can either buy the property or we can't because we think that's the right thing to do, but we're not going to do it or not do it because of what's stated in this background. I do not like the way that's written. I don't think that's appropriate. It's not, certainly not one commissioner's opinion about where we're going with this commission. And we're not going to stop progress in this city because we're building that pipeline.
Where is Andrea this evening? Is she?
Andrew's at a conference, a legal conference, and you'll remember she had notified all of you that she would be out for that. It's just.
I'm going to vote against that motion, and I haven't heard a second yet, simply because I think we need to follow through with that plan. That's a lot of money. We probably can buy it later. We might be able to negotiate this differently, but we've been burned with that strategy previously. It could be $1.2 million the next time we come around. So I think we need to follow through with this plan. The plan was to acquire all that property, whether we put an amphitheater or green space or whatever. We've been going to do this for a long time. Well, now we're kind of at the decision point. I understand our strategies, and whatever the commission decides is fine, but I'm going to vote for acquiring the property because I think that's a long-term plan that was set in motion before us.
I guess, I mean, here's my reluctance. I'm with you, David, that this is certainly a property that I think we would like to have at some point. This price isn't great. This is a high price, and I worry about the precedent that sets, because I understand the appraisal process. I understand how this number, how the appraisers came to this number, but we all know, and Gary Walters knows, and everyone knows, that's floodplain. That's floodway. It's a lousy place for anything. That building is never going to be improved in a big dramatic way because of the floodway restrictions, because of the location. I mean, it's not likely to be long-term a commercial space, and it's not likely that, absent some pretty substantial investment, it will be changed into anything. So I'm kind of feel like we're playing chicken a little bit here with Gary Walters, and it's a hard call to make.
What was the price of it?
$600,000.
And I don't disagree with what you're saying. However, there were 3 appraisers that went in there that knew that it was in the floodplain, and that's what they valued it at.
Well, but and I wish Andrea was here to speak to it, the way those appraisers are directed at coming up with a value in the condemnation process, I don't think that takes that into account in a real way. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but.
Well, I would like to explain my motion, if I may, since I made the motion. I've been on the commission now for, this is my 5th year, and we did discuss, acquiring this property. But when this project was originally designed, there was going to be a green area all the way from behind Convention Hall, all the way to Garriott. That was the original green space. And then midway, we decided, no, we're going to build these parking lots back there, and we paved about half of the property. And what we've got left is really, it would be a nice little green spot, I guess, but in our last budget, we eliminated a large number of important projects because we didn't have enough money. And now we're going to turn around and spend over $600,000 just to acquire a little bit more grass that really isn't going to accomplish anything for us. I think that, if we could have got the property at a reasonable price, that would have been one thing. But I cannot see us spending this amount of money to acquire what's basically just a small piece of grass that's not going to really benefit the citizens of Enid in any way, shape, or form.
But we don't know that yet because we do have plans for that area. We've had plans for that area since before we got on the commission. And you and I and the mayor were on the commission that said.
But as I say, the plan, to me, the plans changed once the parking lots were built.
I don't think the plan ever changed from having that to be green space the rest of the way up to the highway.
Well, you can
And
make
then when
that.
we did our comp plan, which we just did, which we just recently did, it's even in the comp plan that that's gonna be green space and community space. And so even if we can't do anything with it right now in this budget cycle or even the next budget cycle, I still think that I think that we need to acquire the land to do that. Because
What are we going to do with it? Help me understand what we're going to do with it. If
the
we acquire
plans
it.
that we have are to make that either green space or amphitheater space or community space or whatever. But the point is if we don't get it now, then we don't get the one behind that, then we're gonna stagnate and we're gonna be stuck where we are and nothing's ever gonna happen with that space. And that will completely defeat all of the work that the commission before us did and the commission, when we got seated the last time, did.
I don't see how that's the case. To me, we got the buildings downtown. We've got, you can see the back of the buildings. Just to acquire a little bit more green grass and spend over $600,000. And then if we follow through and acquire the dollar store, we're going to be talking about something in the neighborhood of $2 million.
But we've known that from the beginning.
No, we didn't.
Yes,
No.
we did. Well, I did.
No.
I don't know
Well-
why you didn't. We're on the same meetings.
Well, I never imagined that, I was kind of shocked when that appraisal number came back.
On this property?
On this property.
Yeah, absolutely.
And here's the
It
thing,
is
Tammy,
shocking.
if we have to come back and continue this, and we have to do an appraisal on the last couple properties, I don't know how high they're gonna come back. I'm willing to wait. I think our comp plan's a 25-year vision for Enid. And this doesn't stop us from a year or 2 years, or who knows, maybe Gary Walters would really actually like to get rid of this and is willing to talk in 6 months. But I'll second Ron's motion because I think we can do better. Maybe not today, maybe not 6 months from now, but I think we can do it someday.
I don't see how we can justify, not building bridges or repairing streets and to buy a little bit of property down there that's not going to be of any use to the city at all.
Tell me how the
I don't
appraisal.
agree that it wouldn't be any use to the city.
No, I can't.
Well, for
see
me,
it
the
being
crux
used.
of the matter really is what Aaron said. It's, the price has been set externally. It's been set essentially by the court at what
Yep.
it is. And
That
it
doesn't
turns
mean we
my
have-
stomach to pay that, to think
doesn't
that
mean
we
we have
could
to
have
pay
gotten
it.
it for about half that maybe, for a different deal. But that price is not gonna go down. I've never seen land price, real estate price go down. At 660 is awful.
Look at
And
what
it's a
happened.
crime, but I think we just need to get this done and put it behind us.
Look at what happened to Cleveland and Garriott.
Well, everything's going up that we've touched. You're right, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
we
not gonna be
started at
cheaper.
one price and it's doubled. Now it's almost tripled in some areas. And so I know it's tough. It's a tough pill to swallow, but I think we have to follow through with our plans. We can't just keep changing horses and money's tight, but
Was that a condemnation?
Yeah.
yeah, it was. It's got court blessing. It's not going to go down.
Yeah, I would just say, just quickly, as your city manager, the question to me really is this what you want to spend $600,000 on? I realize it was the plan, but plans change, and if it still is what you want in the plan, fine. I do remember, and I accept the feedback on the agenda item. I do remember when the financial advisor was here, he cautioned us that as we were looking at cutting the budget and making those hard decisions, that we would have to be cautious in the future about spending cash, which is what this is going to be, for things. And so you'll have to make that hard decision. We need a decision, and sounds like we're close to, you guys.
That is true, but we're buying an asset that's still on the books. This is not cash down the drain. This is an asset that will be on the books at $645,000, and so it's not really a negative on our position. It doesn't impact.
But it does
It does
impact
impact cash,
our
yeah.
unrestricted
But-
EMA balance, which is what we spent, I don't know how many hours getting to where it needs to be not long ago. I mean, this was a few months ago where we fought hard over $20,000 increments because of the importance of having an unrestricted EMA fund balance at the end of this fiscal year. So when we go to do this borrowing for the Caw Lake project, and that's why it's pertinent that our audit of the 15-16 fiscal year reflects that unrestricted EMA fund balance. And that's exactly what this is hitting. This is hitting that exact balance that we fought so hard to prop up. That's where it's going to come from.
I don't disagree with that, Ben. And Gerald, it's not necessarily an unwillingness to change a plan, but you guys know the amount of work that has gone into revitalizing downtown. We're so close to the end. I don't want to spend the money either.
I'm not willing to just watch it stop. I mean, we
No.
worked too hard,
And it is
took too much crap,
This is too
many
big
sleepless
of an
nights, too
asset
many
to the
years
community.
of nonsense to just stop now. And I don't understand why we put so much money, we just spent $400,000 on a comprehensive plan. We've spent tons and tons of money and time on plans, and why are we doing that if we're just gonna change them every couple months? And that is what's happening. We've made lots of plans that a few months later, everybody goes, well, we're just not gonna do that now. And I understand the need to be frugal, and I understand the need to watch what we're doing and to be conservative in some ways, but I don't think that we can just stop everything we're doing, like David said, just because we have other projects we're gonna have to do. I am absolutely adamantly, will forever, as long as I sit here, be against stagnating this city one more minute.
I'll tell you one thing, if I owned that dollar store right now, I'd come at us with a price of $5 million. Because, well, these people are idiots, they'll pay anything. You just name a big price and they'll cough it up for you.
Well,
Ron,
Tammy,
the
you can't
court's not
say,
gonna justify that.
Huh?
The court's
Court
not gonna
won't
justify that. 'cause
They don't
we-
have to, I mean,
Get
unless
three-
unless
get
we
three
decide to
private
condemn it.
places.
Wait a minute, let Ron talk.
No, we decide to condemn it, but they've never indicated that they were unwilling to sell it to us if they could get the price.
now, Tammy, it's disingenuous to say
Wait a
that we
minute,
are,
David's next. Two of you are
They've been
talking.
very cooperative, you're right. Family Dollar has said from day one that, we find
far as
another
we know.
building, basically, they'll let us,
Yeah.
they'll move, and they've been very, very cooperative. Mr. Walters has not been. It's a
No.
different deal, and like I said, it turns my stomach to pay that price, but we need to follow through on that plan. It's bad timing right now, but something will change in the budget this year. We'll end up being able to balance it at the end of the day. We always do. So,
Something may have to be taken out of there.
we may.
Tammy, it's disingenuous to say that if we don't do this, we're not improving downtown. We are continuing to improve downtown in many ways.
I
We're
didn't
continuing
say
to stop, we're
Wait a
continuing
minute.
to improve downtown with the hotel we're building. We are continuing to improve downtown with what I think is a far more valuable investment, the water line improvement program that we're starting. There are better ways that we can make a positive impact on our downtown than dropping a big pile of money on a piece of property that's on the periphery that is not going to see redevelopment today. It's going to be grass that we can come back to at some other point. I mean, there are better ways we can spend our money. If you want to spend $600,000 to get our best bang for the buck this fiscal year, improving downtown, we can do better than this.
Well, first of all, I didn't say that we're not improving downtown. I said I'm not in favor of stopping the improvements on downtown as far as that plan goes. That's part of a huge plan, and I am not willing to stop doing that. I'm just not. Do I think it's a ridiculous amount of money? Absolutely. Do I think we're ever gonna get it for less? No. We're not ever gonna get it for less than that. And I don't think that it's just a chunk of grass. I think that we have a plan to improve that area, and that I think we need to stick with our plan.
Do you think
very
the value of commercial property is going to go up or down in the next year?
I have no idea.
You
But
think,
I
with the oil
imagine that-
patch?
In a year.
You think commercial industrial property in the next year, the next 2
I
years?
certainly
can't
don't think it's
speculate.
gonna go down.
I could speculate, I could be wrong, but I'm certain, I
I
mean, I
don't-
can
I
speculate.
don't think it's gonna go
Can't- you
down.
can't
I don't
base a
know that it's
decision.
gonna skyrocket, but I don't think it's gonna go down.
It's, you guys, this commission, so long as I've been on here for a year now, the few things that we've all aligned on, vision-wise, improving downtown, trails and the parks, these quality of life measures that have a huge impact. This is a vision that has existed for a lot longer than any of us, maybe except Ron, have been on the commission, I believe. And no offense, Ron.
That's all right.
I love you, man.
It is what it is.
That's not necessary.
But I just think we're so close to the end, and I know that it's a lot of money. I don't want to spend it. I agree with David, and we'll figure it out. But this is something that will pay a dividend in a huge way at some point in the future of the city of Enid. And this is a vision that didn't just start here, but has existed for a decade now. And I feel like we have a responsibility to do what we can to see it come through to the end.
Any other comments?
If we decide to buy this, I'll remind all of you during the next budget cycle.
We don't doubt that, Ron.
Listen, I got a long list of those kind of things.
We all do.
What was the motion, Lynn?
Motion was to deny, not to purchase the property.
I second it.
Motion was to deny.
not to purchase the property, but you have to vote yes for the motion.
You don't, you can
You
vote.
don't have to.
Well, you can vote no. But if you want,
Then I'm gonna make a new motion right after.
if you want the motion approved, you'll have to vote yes.
Okay. You don't want to buy it, vote yes,
That's
right?
right.
Don't want to buy it, vote yes.
That's the plan.
Yahtzee.
You don't want to buy it, but the motion is to deny.
Don't want to buy it, vote yes.
Please cast your vote. Motion carries, our motion is denied 4-3.
Make a motion that we do approve the purchase of this property.
Second.
Motion approved by David, second by Tammy. Discussion.
Where are we gonna get the money to buy this?
Unrestricted
What's it gonna
EMA
come out
fund.
of?
Yeah,
It's our unrestricted EMA balance.
We're probably gonna need to bring back an appropriation next meeting, and it's gonna come out of unrestricted negative assets, and we'll find the cash.
One thing I have with this, 600 is way, way overdone. This isn't the last building. If it was the last building, it would make a difference. We have one that's hard telling what it's gonna cost. Where's that money gonna come from?
I'd
You can
say
change
let
the
it
vote,
sit, let it sit there.
It'll be next year or the year after.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not right now.
we can't even talk about the next building until this one's done.
It's taken us years to get to this one. I mean, we've been talking about this
We're
building.
talking
for
2
as long as
fiscal
I've been
years
on the
away,
commission.
probably.
You're getting rid of one eyesore, and you've got one
Sure
more to
hope
go.
so.
Yeah, I know.
But the other one is, like they said, the other one has been cooperative. This one has not been as.
I
mean,
do have
we're
one- I do
blinking.
have one other question, Mayor, if I may.
We got the same situation at Cleveland and Garriott, and
Can,
we will get it again.
can we bulldoze this building down without the dollar store being affected?
Yes, I think so. We
Is it
have to find the
attached?
funds to
Okay.
demolish that
It
too.
looks like it's kind of, it looks like it's kind of shoring up the rear end of it.
For the wall.
Do they show that?
This one's.
Okay.
This isn't that one. We lost on this game of chicken. I mean, if this is the way it votes.
Well,
We played
Well,
chicken,
we may not.
we blinked.
We may not.
I-
You can say, yes, we lost, but we may not have lost.
I think-
We don't know today.
I think we're enabling a vision to come together.
Yeah. I think we'll be glad we did this a couple of years from now.
Call the vote.
Yeah.
David made the motion,
I seconded.
Tammy seconded it. Further discussion. Please cast your vote. Motion carries 4-3. You guys talked so long, my iPad went off.
What did it say?
So long as iPad.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dana can fix that for you.
Changed passwords on me. Item 8.3. Are you ready to go? Okay. Accept and approve Third Amendment to the trust indenture of the Enid Public Transportation Authority, EPTA, naming the mayor and board of commissioners as trustees.
Move approval.
Motion by David.
Second.
Second by Ben. Further discussion.
What exactly are we doing here? Can somebody explain to me exactly what
We're
we're doing?
replacing the Enid Public Transit Authority Board. Dave and I both serve on this board, Tammy as well, and it's been the biggest problem getting just quorum for board meetings. It became apparent that we could simply replace the appointed board members with the 7 of us as board members. So we will, on occasion, in addition to having a meeting for the Enid City Commission and the EMA and the EEDA, we will also have a meeting on occasion as the EPTA.
So essentially, we're replacing the EPTA board and, yeah,
But I can't tell you how many meetings we've gone to
And-
where,
it shows up.
where it's one shy of quorum and we've got to reschedule.
I'm not sure that we made more than one meeting in a year that we actually had a quorum.
The other thing it does, Ron, that I was very much in favor of is it restructures it a little bit, because now it really becomes Mr. Gilbert's responsibility to make the EPTA do what it's supposed to do, try to turn it around, make it more efficient, I mean, they've made a lot of changes in the last couple of years. Now the responsibility comes to him, and we're responsible for him. So it gives us a little bit more control of that aspect of the budget. You know my feelings about the EPTA in general, but this is a change that allows it to come back to this board rather than.
My only reason for questioning it is that we've got a number of advisory boards, and I was just wondering if maybe you know, since I'm sure none of us ever ride the EPTA, I've never been on it, and I doubt if anybody else up here ever has, that, you know, that sometimes with these kind of programs, we need to hear from people that actually do use the programs.
None of the people on the board use them either.
Well, but I mean, we could appoint people that did. I mean, I'm just wondering if we shouldn't have some sort of an advisory board that would meet periodically to give us some kind of input on the operation of the program.
Well, I think maybe the way to do it, Ron, I mean, keep in mind, the advisory board approved this unanimously, but I think the way to do this and to get that input is we need to do a better job of reaching out to our ridership. And maybe that's actually easier to do now because we can go yell at Gerald.
We
and
have a
say,
city
"Gerald,
manager."
yeah, we'd like to hear more from the folks who actually use the Public Transit Authority. So maybe at some point in the study session, we could hear from some folks who ride it, if they're willing to come talk to us.
Absolutely.
At some point. And maybe that's the better mechanism, because no one on the board, advisory board, really used it either.
To me, the city manager needs to manage.
Yeah.
And we'll have study sessions, if you guys, as much as you want to hear about quarterly
Not really.
updates or whatever, so.
Good point. You ready to vote? Please cast your vote. Motion carries 7-0. Item 8.4, consider and approve the restructuring of the Community Development Block Grant CDBG program.
I'd like to recommend that we approve option 3.
Which is?
100%.
See options.
Stephanie?
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioner, City Manager. Option 3 is that the 100%
Yes.
city projects? The commission and city staff chooses 100%. Option 2 is the 50/50, and option 1 is 45% infrastructure, which is city projects, 45% housing and homeless prevention, and 10% public services with a cap of $10,000 per application or project.
My thought process on the 100%, it just gives us total flexibility. If we decide we want to do 50% on homeless and housing and 10%, I mean, we can split it up however we want to. I don't want to see us handicapped with a preset percentage that defines what we're going to do. So to me, the 100% gives this commission the most flexibility. That's why I'm in favor of it.
Do you want to fund housing programs?
Depends on what they are. We'll have to take a look at them.
I mean, that's my problem, is we have a couple agencies that do a really tough job with not very much money in this town, and it's vital that that service remains for our community.
That we can do the allocation.
We absolutely could elect to, but there's no guarantee that we will.
Right.
And I kind of like that string being on the commission with option 2 of, look, we need to push the commission, not just us, but future commissions, unless they come back and change it,
Are we-
to focus on housing.
Are we required to have a public hearing on this program then? In other words, we'll have to advertise a public hearing, and we'll have to set up here and listen to anybody that wants to come in here and tell us that they want some part of these funds. Is that correct?
Just like
We have a public hearing in December, and yes, they'll have a chance to say what they believe should be done with the funds, but that's just public input. It's not
I
set in
understand.
stone.
And it'll be focused too on, if whatever option you choose, it'll be focused along those lines, right?
Correct.
Stephanie, move it forward to the list of priority,
Okay. Oh,
high
here.
priority and medium priority.
Here's a list of the high priorities, acquisition of property. I'll let you skim through there and read some of those.
And you can see in that there are a lot of possibilities that we could do with city infrastructure with this kind of opportunity. And on the medium, and although I'm in agreement with the homeless and housing help, it does fall a step below.
So
But,
we could use this money then to buy the Walters property.
I don't.
Only
think
if it
would
benefits low
qualify
income.
Why not?
Stephanie, it occurred to me
Where it's located.
while I was studying this, I don't remember, and if you have provided your opinion in the past, I'm sorry, but I don't remember what that would be, or what that was. Are these three options, in your opinion, since you really have had the most experience with this, are these the best three options for us to consider, or would you have a proposal that might be a hybrid of the three?
These are three great options. I think housing is near and dear to my heart, so I like to make sure that housing, I just do my job, everybody else decides what I do with it.
Good answer.
So, yes, housing, we do save a lot of money by having CDSA administer that program because they already have staff paid. They're paying a salary to those people who run that program. They have leveraging funds that go toward that. It's the most bang for your buck, if you will.
And so, with that being said, and I'm trying to chase a cat, I guess, with that being said, if we decide to do 100% for city projects, we don't have the agreement with CDSA, then most likely they don't have the structure in place to take care of those housing projects. Is that what I heard you say? Or
We do not.
it would turn into a city-run project to spend those
We
funds.
don't do.
Yes,
Or we-
unless we had an agreement with CDSA who currently does that.
But if they don't have the funding, then they can't continue to employ the people that
Correct.
perform the function, right?
Yes.
So that's actually a pretty big deal.
Well, when you're through.
No, I think it's a pretty big deal, because if we cut the funding, then CDSA can't actually plan to run the project. If and then we choose to fund housing with CDBG money, then the city would have to administer its own housing program.
Right, and then we gotta come up with the money
We don't want to do that.
to do that, right? And we've already,
You're shaking your head no. Am I misunderstanding, or is
Well,
that?
that's not how I see that at all, because we can very easily decide we want to do $10,000 worth of a housing project and fund CDSA to do that.
But they
But
might
we
not
don't-
have the people to do it if they don't have.
There's no guarantees from year to year now, Aaron. We
I
do this,
understand.
we fight over this every single year, and part of the, the sub-level here that I think most of us would agree on is what I want to stop is the phone calls from board members, the emails, the lobbying, the hard feelings, the thing that we go through every single year when we deal with this. Let's just put the money in one pot. We're 7 really smart people. We can listen to the input through the public hearing during the budgetary process like we always do. And if we choose to do 100% to homeless financing one year, we'll have that flexibility. But if we handicap ourselves with an arbitrary, out-of-the-air percentage, I mean, what are these based on? They're not based on any science, they're not based on any evidence, they're not even based on our past history of what we've done in terms of how we've spent our money. These are out-of-the-air percentages that just came from somewhere.
They were based on another city.
Let's just put it all in the pot, and then we divvy it out how we best to benefit this community. And we don't have to administer it. We don't repair every water line ourselves. We don't dig, we don't pour concrete at the airport. We hire it out. So we hire it out.
well,
So I don't see us having to do it
So
ourselves.
we'll just plug it into the city budget, is that what you have in mind? Just
Yes, sir, absolutely.
be another income item?
What already is.
It's already budgeted.
It's just the mechanism that we have to distribute this very small and shrinking pie is inefficient, prolific with hard feelings, very difficult to administer every year. I mean, Rodney and whoever else sat on that committee for weeks, and then the commission just changed the whole thing, and we arbitrarily did what we wanted. So let's just agree that we're gonna do what we want, make it 100%, and move on down the road.
and the other part of that is to get rid of the part that you're talking about that causes all the hard feelings. If you do option 2, that cuts that part out. It cuts out all the 27 people that come and tell you how horrible you are if you don't vote for them part. And then.
So where does the 50% go? You're saying it's already
Well, no,
predetermined?
No, the 50% for the housing homeless, that would go towards the programs that we're talking about, like the CDSA, that those agencies administer, which those agencies to me are different than the agencies we're talking about where we get the phone calls, like the youth centers and the museums and those different kind of things. Those aren't the same thing as the housing and homeless
Basically,
agencies.
have the Salvation Army and CDSA. And we could have worded this up to 50%. you know, where you actually still had that determination. It didn't have to be that arbitrary 50%.
It was an effort just to take the worrying about how you're gonna break the 100% down. You're still, with option two, you still have to figure out, how do I spend the 50%? Do I spend it all on homeless housing with one, do I spend it with two or three?
This one, we're not looking at that whole entire list of the ones that were.
This will
say-
cut out all other entities except for those who provide those services. Right now, there are more coming. Forgotten Ministries does a homeless and housing.
So we're gonna have lobbying from multiple people, even within the 50%. So we're not ever gonna get completely away from
Right,
it.
but you're
But
cutting
why
it down,
handicap
but you're
ourselves?
cutting it down to 3 instead of 20.
David, I'll
vote.
echo,
Let's vote.
David, I'll echo your comments there, because the least fun meeting we've had in the last year has been on CDBG.
Always is, every year.
Every time.
time.
It's
I
terrible.
resent
So,
that statement.
no offense, Stephanie. But I'll tell you also, in my experience with CDSA, they are extremely efficient with how they run this program. And I have some heartache not planning to fund that program in some capacity. And I know that we could go back and allocate it, we could. But I'm also thinking of future commissions and how it might be lined out, so.
To clarify briefly, and it probably isn't germane, but the CDSA program that we have funded historically and that they have done so much with isn't homeless, it's emergency housing repair. So primarily what that is, end of the day, as a guy whose mom runs the organization, is folks who are primarily elderly, primarily on a fixed income, statistically. When their heater breaks in the middle of the winter, they have no one to call. So they call CDSA, and CDSA will come out and fix their heater. It's stuff like that.
Sure.
This is a bunch of, this is not any, this isn't one big project. This is a bunch of little stuff. These are a bunch of phone calls. These are a bunch of people on fixed incomes with no one else to call. So it's not a program we want to handle because we don't want to be fielding those phone calls. We don't want to be sending Gerald out to go fix a heater in December.
Well, I don't know.
I think for,
He might need us.
see, I think, I agree with you, Ben, and if the newspaper quotes me as being against any one of these single organizations, I'm gonna strangle you, because I'm not. That is not what I'm saying.
Get that quote. There's a quote,
Because I think it's a little bit apples and oranges, because.
Commissioner threatens newspapers, gonna be the headline.
I'm not saying that there's any one of those projects we shouldn't fund. I just don't want to handicap our hands. It's just real simple. This is just about predetermining what we're going to spend the money on or not. To me, that's all this vote is. This isn't about the worthiness of any of the projects. And when it comes budget time, you can lobby for the things that you believe in, Aaron, and I will too. So that's what we do. We'll have 100% of that money that we can decide on, or if we pick option 2 or 1, we'll have 10% or 46 or whatever. I just think 100 gives us the most flexibility.
Totally.
The
I've said
other
all-
side of that coin is,
From what's
I
been,
think that we are handicapping ourselves if we're going to be expected to fix heaters in December and be the, I mean, that's a handicap too, because we don't have the resources to do that. So then we're not just looking at how to spend this money, we gotta come up with additional money to administer
I know this is
and
gonna-
pay people to do it and all of those things.
This is gonna sound harsh, and I don't mean it that way, but the truth is, we don't have to fix them. I mean, if CDSA doesn't do it, doesn't necessarily mean that the city has to.
Right.
I mean,
There's always way more need than there is ability.
there is, I mean,
We just can't do it all.
from that standpoint, I prefer option 2 over option 3.
I like option 2 up to 50%, Joan's suggestion, which really almost gives us the same latitude, David, of getting it to 100% if we choose to.
Stephanie, what usually the percentage on the CDSA and the homeless side of that?
CDSA usually gets about $75,000, and it's been that way since we've gotten about $750,000. So I'm gonna guess around 10 to 15%, and it keeps increasing whenever our total budget decreases. So we kind of try to keep it the
And
same.
Salvation Army got some stuff, that would all count still underneath that one.
Yes, and they received $44,000.
What was the total this year, Stephanie?
The total, $399,
390, 400,000.
$400,000.
But it's gonna keep
Then
going
you had to-
down.
Then you had to take out the
Administrative.
loan that's a requirement. When we, at the end of the day, we argued over about $200,000.
Right.
If 75,000 of that went to CDSA, then that's not 10%, that's 42%. So we're splitting hairs here. I think let's just decide.
What was the motion?
Motion was to, that we approve option 3.
Who made the second?
Nobody. Okay.
Hearing none.
Mayor, I move that we approve option 2 with up to 50% going to housing and homeless.
Second.
Motion by Aaron, second by Tammy. Further discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion carries 6-1.
Thank you.
Item 9, consent items, we are going to pull 9.8. Do we have a motion?
I move to approve everything except 9.8.
Motion by Ben,
Second?
second by Ron. Further discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion carries 7-0. Item 9.8, award and approve the purchase of a front load.
We pulled 9.8.
I guess I better not read it. My mistake. Item 10. We will now recess to convene as the Enid Municipal Authority. Item 11, all the trustees at the Enid Municipal Authority regular meeting are in attendance. Item 12, the Enid Municipal Authority regular meeting is now in session. Item 12.1, approval of claims in the amount of $403,309.88.
Move to approve.
Motion by Ben,
Second.
second by Aaron. Please cast your vote. Motion carries 7-0. Item 13, we will now adjourn to convene as the Enid Economic Development Authority. Item 14, all of the trustees of the Enid Economic Development Authority regular meeting are present. Item 15, Enid Economic Development Authority regular meeting is now in session. Item 15.1, approve and execute Second Amendment to the real estate purchase and sale agreement between the City of Enid, the Enid Economic Development Authority, the seller, and Hunt Properties, Inc., the buyer.
Move approval.
Motion by David,
Second.
second by Tammy. Further discussion?
We want to clarify what this amendment is.
Yes, what this amendment does is it moves the contractual completion date, acquisition date of November 30th to January 31st of 2016.
Is that
For
primarily
acquisition
because
of the
of
Loma Courts properties. That also ties it with, the next item the Third Amendment is the same thing. It ties it with the Second Amendment, so it has the same January 31st, 2016 acquisition date.
So this is extending our deadlines and their deadlines.
It's extending our acquisition date, which is a deadline for both of us.
Isn't there a situation with the fire station in there too?
The fire station is really more involved on the next item, 15.2, but the fire station has had a few punch list items, and I haven't talked to Joe this week about it. Bill, you may have some updates, but I think we're still looking to complete those, so that's caused a delay. Originally, Hunt had wanted us to move it to November 30th. I visited with them about perhaps some of the issues we have and perhaps getting an extension of a couple months. They agreed to it and thought it was a good idea, so that's why both items are here.
I'll move to approve.
Motion by Ben to approve item 15.1.
Oh, did we already do that?
David?
I wasn't paying
While we're on this particular item, do we have a completion date for the fire station number 4? End of October.
We got a motion by David, a second by Tammy. Further discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion carries 7-0. Item 15.2, approve and execute Third Amendment to the real estate purchase and sales agreement between the City of Enid, the Enid Economic Development Authority, the seller, and Hunt Properties, Inc., the buyer.
Move to approve.
Motion by Ben,
Second.
second by David.
What is the third agreement?
Further
This is the fire station amendment that essentially, when you read it on the attachment, it just ties back to the previous item that you approved with the same acquisition date of January 31st, 2016.
We had amended this one at one point before, hadn't we?
Two times previously.
Yeah.
One time plus the original.
Yeah.
Further discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion carries 7-0. Item 15.3, consider and approve the contract to purchase the property at 809 A Street for approximately $110,000, including closing costs and commission.
Move to approve.
Motion by Ben,
Second.
second by David. Further discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion carries 7-0. Item 4, approval of claims in the amount of $306,000.
Move to approve.
Motion by Ben,
Second.
second by David. Please cast your vote. Motion carries 7-0. Item 16, we will now adjourn to reconvene as the Enid City Commission. Under item 17, there are none. Item 18, we will consider convening into executive session pursuant to 25 Oklahoma Statute 307B3 to discuss the purchase of real property pursuant to 25 Oklahoma Statute 307C10 to discuss matters pertaining to economic development because an executive session is necessary to protect the confidentiality of the business and to reconvene into regular session to take any necessary action.
So moved.
Motion by
Second.
Ben, a second by David. Please cast your vote. Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you for joining us for the Enid City Commission meeting. If you have any questions or comments, visit our website at enid.org.